Hey everybody, what is up and welcome back to the channel. And today we are going to talk about trail cams. So you decided you want to get a trail cam, but you don't know what to get because you went online and realized there's so many that you don't know what to pick. Well, stay tuned because we're going to dive right in. We're going to talk about some budget-friendly trail cams that work real good. Okay everybody, we are back and we are going to talk about trail cams today. So you decided you want to get some trail cams, whether to put on your property so you can see what wildlife's going on, put them out where your hunting stand's going to be at, or just put them out to do surveillance to make sure you don't have trespassers on your property, whatever your choice of why you decide to do it. So you decide to go online, you look, and you realize there's a gazillion of them. There's so many trail cams out there you don't know which ones to buy, and there's so many videos out there that talk about get this one, get that one, get this one, get that one, and everything. And this isn't going to be me telling you what to get. This is going to be telling you what I've found out through the testing that I've done and the cameras that I use and the ones that I like and in my opinion are great cameras on a budget, because I don't think you should have to spend $150, $200, $300, $400, $500 for a trail cam. And do you really want to leave that out in the woods? I don't. So trail cams can run anywhere from like $25 up to $500, $600 or even more. They have ones that'll link to your phone. They have ones that'll do all kinds of crazy stuff, but you have to ask yourself what your needs are and stuff. And we will touch base on all those, but we're going to talk about budget friendly cameras. Now, with that being said, I've got 3 cameras here. These are all available today and they are all at pretty good price points, and 2 of them are favorites. One of them not such a fan of, but in a pinch it will work. It's just not the greatest camera, but if you can't find anything else and you need something real quick, it actually is not the worst either. So we're going to talk about these cameras, and then we'll talk about some of the high-end ones, and we'll talk about why I don't use those, and there's a bunch of reasons for it. But the first camera I want to talk about is this Tasco. Now I opened this up for another video I just did, but I wanted to show you what it looks like in the package so you guys can see this. This is a very budget-friendly camera. This thing is like $32.99 or $34.99. I will have links down below for all these cameras. All the links will be down below, so if you guys are interested in a certain camera. And while we're talking about these cameras and as I'm discussing cameras, you're going to see some video footage up here probably, and it'll be video footage from that camera that we're actually talking about. So we're going to get this one out of the package, but I just wanted to show you this one in the package first. Okay, so this is the Tasco we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about this with Soda. We're going to talk about just Wild Game Innovations. Okay, now all these can be found on Amazon. They're great ones, but 2 of these you can actually get at your local Walmart too if they're in stock. A lot of these times aren't out, but we're going to take this one out of the package. Now I also want to show you what you get in a package with one of these Tascos. This is the Tasco 12 multi-pick camera, or 12 MP trail camera. It's got low glow on it, which is really nice, and this is a great camera, and this thing is very budget friendly, and I love this camera. It's one of my favorites. It's freaking amazing. And I'm going to show you what you get in it. You get the camera, what you get right there, and you get your strap to mount it, and I'll show you how that goes, and you get the instructions. And what's nice about this, these instructions are awesome. They're simple, they're easy, and they're understandable, which you don't get in a lot of stuff these days. Now with the Tasco camera, and while we're talking about this, the video footage that you are seeing is from this Tasco camera, so you guys can see what it's over here in the corner, so you can see it. So you're watching this video footage while we're talking about it. But while we're talking about this camera, the cool thing about this camera, let's talk about, and I had it upside down. The cool thing about this camera is number 1, it's very easy to use. Number 2, it's super durable. Number 3, the batteries last a long time in these things, which is awesome. Number 4, it has the holes right here and here, so you can put a cable through it and you can lock your camera on the tree, so it's no asshole out there that decides to steal your camera can take your camera and stuff. And so on number 4, it doesn't cost that much. If somebody does decide to steal it or destroy it, you're not going to be that upset about losing it where you would if you had a $400 or $500 camera or a $150, $200 camera. So that's a great thing about them. And these things record awesome, and they catch a lot of footage. So here, right here on this is where your strap goes. So this strap would run through there and then you'd strap it to the tree. But I don't really care for these straps to use them much. I actually use a screw mount, and I have a video. If you go look, I don't know if the video is up yet or if I put it up yet. but I will have a video coming, or it's already up, so go look at my trail cam video playlist, and there should be a video up that talks about and shows you the bracket that I like to use, because I don't have any more right now, that I use to mount them to the trees, that really helps you angle this left, right, up, and down. It's an awesome bracket, and they're like $7.99, $8.99. You can find them on Amazon. I will leave the link to that bracket down below so you can go check that out as well. But let's get into this camera. Now, this isn't going to be an in-depth review about this camera. It's going to be an overview, and I'm going to show you guys footage that I'm playing right now, why we're talking about this camera. And I'm talking about why I like this camera. Number one, this thing works great. It works awesome. Number two, it's super durable. I leave my cameras out 24/7 throughout the years, and these things are holding up well and doing awesome. And they even take a beating when the birds like to sit on them, the squirrels get on top of them, the birds poop on them, and do all kinds of stuff. This camera is still running strong, and it gets great video. Now, the other thing I want to say about cameras is you got to understand that no matter how much you spend on a trail camera, it is not going to catch everything that walks by it. And I've got 5 different types of cameras out on my property, and they do not catch everything. And I mean, even us walking in between them and stuff, walking back and forth in front of them, it won't always pick us up. It does a lot of it, but no matter what trail cam you get, you're not going to capture everything. And we've done tests where we put these cameras side by side, have 2, 3, 4 of them in the same area, film in the same spot, and like 2 of the cameras will catch it and the other ones won't catch it, and then other times the other 2 cameras will catch it where these 2 cameras don't catch it. So it can be really hit and miss. But my thing is, I want a camera to catch the most footage possible that it can do. And what I've come to find out, that there's a couple cameras that I've tried out personally, and other ones that I've seen reviewed on, that do that the best. And they're not the expensive cameras. It turns out that the budget-friendly ones seem to catch more photos of the animals that are cruising around than the high-end ones. Now, it also boils down to the sensitivity you put on it. Now, for me, just out the gate, all my cameras are set up on high sensitivity because I like to catch everything. Now, there's a lot of hunters out there that like to set it on medium because they don't like catching the trees blowing and stuff. Well, I don't care about that. I'll sort through the footage because I check my cameras every day. I don't leave them out there and don't unattended for weeks on end. I go out there and check them. And I know that's hard for some guys, but I check ours every day, and it's not a problem for me. I sort through it, and we catch a lot of animals that way. So high sensitivity for me on all my cameras, just so you know, that's how I get all the cool footage that I'm getting. You can set it any way you want. They're all designed to set up in different sensitivities, but that's it. But these Tasco cameras are awesome. These Tasco cameras are awesome as can be. I love these things. They're great. They're budget friendly. They're really awesome, and they're really easy to use because when you pop this open, it's a simple thing. This is your on and off switch right here. This is how you set up your menu. The menu is really simple, real easy to use. And then this is where your batteries are at. Right here, it takes 8 AA batteries. Slide it in there. Locks into place, and this thing is good to go. You put it in there. You put your SD card in right here. Set your camera up, make sure you format it. Very important to always format your cards when you're swapping out your SD cards. Click that bad boy on and you're good to go. Now I'm going to do a whole in-depth review on this camera where you guys can see me set one up. I'll show you how to set it up, I'll show you how to use it, and I'll show you video footage that it's capturing for me, and then you guys decide. But I'm going to tell you right now, this camera right here, I would buy 100 of these all day long versus some of the higher end cameras. And I do have a higher end one that was a pain in the butt to get it to work right, and I finally got it working and figured it out, but it doesn't catch near the footage that this one does. Now it has a really good picture on it, but the pictures to me are the same quality, and it's a higher end camera, and so it's kind of disappointing that the one that I spent more on, you know, which it still wasn't that expensive, but the one that I spent more of, I could have bought 3 of these almost for the price of that one camera, you know, and it was still under $100, but still, when you can get these for $32.99 all day long and get better quiz that catches more animals and catches more footage, it's a no-brainer for me. So that's the Tasco one. This is a great one. Try out. I hope you enjoyed that footage that we were showing of it. That showed you kind of some of the footage and some of the animals we're catching on it. Let's move on to the Wasota. All right. We're saving this one for last. So the Wasota. Now the Wasota, these cameras run anywhere from $49.99. Sometimes you'll see them at $59.99, but they'll put them on sale for $38.99. And I usually wait until they throw them on sale and I grab them. I have 1, 2, 3. I'm running three of them out in the woods, right? 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 8 cameras, so I'm running 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I'm running 3 of these right now, and I'm running 3 Tascos, and then I've got an old Primos, and then I've got an Alpha, which we'll touch on a little bit, but I'm not really going to get into that because I'm not actually going to recommend that camera. So, but these Wasotas are awesome. This thing is a budget-friendly camera. The awesome things about this camera is, number one, you get the strap. It comes with a strap just like one of these straps that you can put in there. It also has the places to where you can put a cable around it and lock your camera so it doesn't get stolen. But the awesome thing about this camera is this camera has a narrow view and it has a wide view. And out of all the cameras that I've used, and I'm running 5 different ones, this one gets the widest view and the widest picture. And it's just awesome, and it's super clear. It's great, and it picks up so much stuff. And the other cool thing about that is that when you're doing your settings, you want your camera to be set at the lowest possible shutter setting, which means that how many seconds in between it takes for that camera to turn on and record. So what happens is when a camera's sensor gets tripped, it takes a few seconds for it to actually kick on and start recording, and some of them are slower than others. Now I'll tell you, you don't want anything slower than 5 seconds, all right? And if you can get them quicker than that, you want them quicker than that. And the reason why is that in the time that animal trips the sensor and it moves through, in 7 seconds that animal's out of view, and you'll get a lot of butt shots and things like that, or you won't get anything. You'll just get the camera on and nothing. And that's what happens to those cameras. This camera, you can dial it down to 2 seconds per thing. So as soon as the camera walks in there, it kicks on in 2 seconds. And what's nice about it having such a wide view, because it has these outer ones sensors that'll pick up the camera, it turns on the camera early. So usually that animal, we've come to find out that animal either will be right here in the frame, or it's in the middle of the frame, and we're getting more of that animal. Where with some of the other cameras, you're getting the ass end of it or on out and stuff. And we'll talk about that when we'll talk about that camera. So that's really awesome. Now the Tascos, 5 seconds. So what's nice about the Tascos, and we've seen that with the Tascos, that 5 second thing, most of the time those animals are in the middle of the frame when it's catching them. We're catching them either here or there. So that 5 seconds has really worked really well too. This one works better. It really catches them where you get a whole lot of that animal going through. That's the thing I like about this, the setting on this, being able to do that. It's awesome. And then the cool thing about this camera is that it's very easy to set up. Your SD card goes in here. I don't have one in there right now and stuff. Your battery pack is right here. Just push this button out. You got your battery pack. Eight AA's. I'm gonna tell you, these things freaking run out. I can get about 2 months out of the battery life of these cameras, leaving them on 24/7. We just check them every day. And then what's awesome about this is that when you click this on or turn this on, it's gonna say no card in there. But when we kick it on, you can see that screen, right? Now that screen, what's nice about this one, which the Tasco doesn't have, is that when you have this set up, you can aim that and you can look at that screen. I can look at that screen and I can see what it's showing. So I can line that screen up with what I want it to capture, and I know exactly what area that camera's going to film. I'm not having to play like this one. You have to kind of figure it out. Now this is where the camera's aiming, so you want to line that up where it is, but you have to kind of guess and kind of think and kind of line it up and see where it is. And there's a way you can test it. You put it in a middle setting and you can test it, and you can test it to make sure, and you'll see the little light kick on if it's tripping it. That's how you kind of know you're in the right area. But with this one, it takes the guessing out of it. You just can look at that screen, you can look at seeing what it is, and you can see what you're recording and what's super awesome. And then the menu on this is real easy to use. When you're kicking it over on this, I did have batteries in this one, or I'd kind of touched it, but when you're kicking over on the menu is very easy on this. It'd be hard for you guys to see right now. I'm going to do an in-depth video on this, but when you kick it over on the menu side, you hit the menu button, and then you just scroll down, and it's very, very self-explanatory how to change your parameters. You can change how high a megapixels you want to record, how low. You can change how long you want the video to record, whether you want to record for 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, however long you want to record. It will record videos and take pictures. You can set up to take a photo and do a video, or take 2 photos. It'll do shutter shots. This thing does a lot of stuff, but it's very easy to program. Very easy to program, very easy to work. And that's what I like about it, because I have that camera, that Alpha camera I have over there. It's very complicated to use, and it's got so many settings on it. It's like too much, and I don't like too much. And there's other cameras that get so complicated it's ridiculous. All I'm trying to do is catch some wildlife on my property. So this thing is very easy to use. Your control settings for moving around are right here. Everything's right here. It's very intuitive and easy to use and simple, and you can see it all on a nice LCD screen while you're doing it. So it's very easy to use, and it works really good. And this one, these hold up really well as well. Now I've bought 4 of these, and the only problem that I've come to find with these is that this one I'm holding in my hand, for some reason it started wanting to drain batteries faster. So the batteries weren't lasting as long as this one, so I took this one down, because you guys know in this day and age batteries are expensive. I usually get about 2 months out of a battery, and this one was running down kind of crazy fast. It worked great for a long time, and it was just this spring. We've had this camera out since last fall, and just this spring, just in the past few weeks, it started just draining the batteries really quick. They weren't lasting long at all, and I don't know what was going on with it. The camera still works. It still works, but it started draining batteries. So we pulled this one down, and we got a new one, and this is an older version. The upgraded versions are actually even a little bit simpler to use. Same menu time, but every time in the upgraded version, it'll ask you, it'll as soon as you put your card in, it'll ask you to format your card, because it's very important every time you change a card, format your cards in your cameras to make sure they're going to capture it. Because one thing I found out about my Alpha Cam, if you don't format the card every time you use it, it won't record at all. So that was one of the things that I found out about using that camera. So this WASOTA is awesome. Like I said, there'll be links down below. I'm going to do a full review on these, so stay tuned for those to do a full review on these. But if you want to check one of these out now, and like I said, as we've been talking, the footage that you've been watching that's up in the corner is from this camera. So it's from the WASOTA cameras, so you guys can see that footage and see what animals that were captured on it, so you can see it. But this is a great camera. Like I said, anywhere from $38.99 to $59.99, depending on how Amazon goes. The price fluctuates, but usually it stays around $49.99. And for $50, this camera is awesome. I'll buy these all day long. This is actually my favorite camera that I'm running right now out there. This camera is awesome. It's worth every penny of it. I love this camera. It's super awesome. I love the Tasco too. This is my number 2 camera that I love, but this is my number 1. This is a great camera, and it's awesome. And you can get them at Amazon all day long. Like I said, links down below. You can check them out. I'll have the link for the bracket as well that I'm using to mount these on, and they're awesome cameras. So let's move on to the next one. So the next one, this is Wild Games Innovation Camera, all right? And this camera right here, you can get it. I'll have a link down below for it, but you can also find these at Walmart. I'm going to talk about the pros of this, and then I'm going to talk about the cons of this, because I don't really have any cons about either one of these cameras, other than I wish this one had an LCD screen that I could see like this one does, but that's it. But this one we're going to talk about. Now, this one I picked up in a pinch because I needed a camera, and I wasn't able to get any of these, and I needed one that day. So I ran to Walmart, and this is the only one they had. I looked at some other ones. They didn't have any of these, and I grabbed one of these. I like this one. The pros of this camera, I like the way it looks. It blends in really well to the trees. When you mount this to a tree, you have a really hard time seeing it. All right, so it's a really hard time seeing it. And if you mount it up high, it disappears. Now, all these cameras blend in really well, but this one really blends in because it has this wood barky look. And that was one of the reasons why I picked it up, so it was super cool. Now, the other thing that I like about it is that it's really easy to use. The menu system is really simple. This is probably the simplest camera you can get. Your battery pack is right here. Let me see if I can remember how to get that out, because I haven't popped that out in a while, because this one has been down. Oh yeah, here's the release for the battery. The release for the battery is right there. Again, takes 8 AA batteries and stuff, but this is super simple. On this one, you have either video or camera. That's it. You have your settings here. That's your time zone, which you'll set right there, and then you have 15-second delay, 30-second, or 1-minute delay. This one is a 15-second delay, and I'll tell you right now, that is a big negative. 15-second delay is terrible unless that animal is going to stand there for a little bit. Just about anything that's just casually walking by, you will not catch on this camera, because it takes 15 seconds from the time the sensor trips for the camera to kick on, and then it takes 15 seconds for it to turn on again if it's multiple tripping. Now, we've caught some video footage with this, and in a pinch it'll work, but this is not a camera that I would recommend and stuff. This camera, it just takes too long. The other thing that's kind of a bummer is the footage isn't terrible, but it's grainy. It's a lot grainier than the other ones and stuff. And even though it works okay, and if you needed something in a pinch, it's okay. It's very simple to use. I mean, the up and down settings and plus and minus, setting your time and date is really easy. It's very simple. So if you're just starting out with trail cams, this is a real easy one to set up, but I wouldn't recommend it because this one is just as easy and 1,000 times better, you know. So when I got this one, I mean, we've used it some, but as soon as we replaced it, it has been sitting on a shelf, and I just kind of keep it around to talk about, to show people that this is one that, you know, in a pinch it'll work and it will catch some stuff, but it doesn't catch hardly anything compared to what these do. I mean, this one you'll get like maybe 2 or 3 clips, where this one you'll get like 20 or 30, you know, if you're trying to compare kind of what it is. I mean, it looks cool, it's simple to use, but there's just not a whole lot to get into. A couple of the other good features on it is it does have the cable lock on it. It does come with a strap. It's durable. It does hold up, but it just doesn't have the the quality of video is not that great, and it just doesn't capture enough. It really doesn't pick up, even on the high setting, it just doesn't capture enough stuff. And it's so crazy because we had animals like literally in front of it that other cameras picked up, and this thing didn't pick up anything. And all of them will do that, but this one, it's just not something I'd recommend. I would not go for this Wild Game Innovations one. And from what I've read from a lot of the Wild Game Innovations ones, these ones run like $48.99 or $49.99 is what it was. But it's just not worth it. Not when you can buy a Wasota for the same price or less that works phenomenal and you'll love it. So this one I just can't recommend as far as those cameras go. That's about all I can say about this camera. It's just, I don't have a lot of things. It does have the mounts. That's one thing I'll talk about is it has the screw mounts on the back for this one. I don't really care for the screw mount on the back. I prefer the mounts here. These all have the screw mounts on the bottom. This one has it on the bottom as well right there. And that's so you can take and mount them. You can use the mount that I'm talking about that screws into the tree and mount it on there. And it's a lot easier to mount them that way and angle them and do them. Where this on the back, it's nice that they have it, but it's just not, it sticks out too far. It really pushes the camera out, and I don't like that, where these sit on top of it. And I have a video out, you guys will see, if it's not already out, you'll see the video where I go through and talk about the mounts and why I mount them in the trees and everything like that. That's another thing about these cameras, is that these cameras will have a little red light. This one has a little red light that comes on, the little red light comes on here. This one has the light comes on right here. Now it's not a bright light or anything like that, but that's so that night vision can kick on. It's creating light out there, the light, so you can see the animals at night. And the reason why I like to mount the cameras up high is so the animals don't see that light, because I have footage, and maybe I'll roll it in here as well, where the animal sees that red light if you mount it down at their eye level, and it actually scares them, you know, especially with deer. So it's really good to mount those up high. And the other reason why you want to mount them up high is so some dickhead that's not coming through the woods steals your cameras, because a lot of people get their cameras stolen. That's the other reason to go with budget-friendly cameras. Now, the way I do it to mount them up high is I have this step stool right here that I use, and I go out there, and I'm 5'9", and then I take and I screw that thing in as high as I can reach it to do everything I need to do, and I put it up there, and then I take it down. So even some guy that's about 7 foot tall can't get to it, because usually once I hang it up there, it's usually about 8 or 9 feet in the air, you know. And you want to do that because if it's not in eye level, most people won't notice it even if they're walking through the woods. So you don't have to worry about somebody stealing your camera. And even if they do see it, they're going to have to work at it to get it. And if they want to work that hard at it to get it, then I guess, oh well, they get your camera. But some assholes will even take sticks and try to hit them off, you know, which kind of sucks, which is stupid. Leave people shit alone, people. You know, it's not yours. Don't mess with it. And if you're doing, don't be doing illegal crap, and then you won't have to worry about getting caught on camera. That's my 2 cents about that. But there's multiple reasons. The other thing is that animals, if they see it, like bears and stuff, they're very curious, and raccoons and stuff, they're very curious, and they'll start messing with it. My brother, who runs trail cams too, has had several of his cameras destroyed by bears because they didn't have them up high enough, and the bears grabbed them and were looking at it and ripped them all up. So that's another reason for hanging them up high. Now let's talk about, these are budget-friendly cameras, but let's talk about the higher-end cameras. Now, through my looking up and checking out and researching, that's what I want to say, I couldn't figure out that word, geez, that's terrible, but through my research and looking at cameras, I've come to find out that the expensive cameras don't actually record as well as these budget-friendly cameras. And there's a guy that actually did a video. He had $400 trail cams, and he put them up against these Tascos, and these Tascos not only outdid them, but actually had better video quality as well. And so he was like, I'm going to buy a bunch of Tascos, the heck with these high-end cameras. Now, there's companies out there like Tascam that make cameras that actually link to your phone. And they talk about for $10, you could get notifications and stuff like that. For $10 a month, you can have this camera linked, and it can be out anywhere in the woods and everything like that. That's $10 a month after you pay $100 a month for the service, because the services that go along with those cameras are like having a cell phone, and you're literally paying cell phone service price for that camera. And if you want, some cameras will allow you to only link 2, some of them only let you link 1. And I've talked to guys that are spending $200 or $300 a month to use their cameras that link to their cell phones, so they can leave them out there and they get notifications every time it goes off. Well, I'm pretty sure that you don't want another cell phone bill just for your trail cam, right? Now, the way these programs work, from what I understand, is that a lot of these guys they turn the program on during hunting season, and then they quit paying for it once hunting season is over, and then they turn it back on and off. But still, paying that kind of money, because you actually have to pay for a cell phone service. It's a whole different service. Even though they go through Verizon and all these companies, they make you pay for a whole different service. So it's not just $10 a month. It's anywhere from $90, $100, $150, $200, depending on what cameras and what company you're going with. It's expensive. And for me, I thought that was cool that you can link it to your phone until I found out what it was going to cost me every month. And for me to run 2 cameras like that was going to cost me a minimum of about $100 a month, so I could have that trip in my phone every time it goes off. And I was like, that's not worth it. I'd rather just go check them every day. So you really need to do your research when it comes into the higher end ones. Me personally, I think this camera right here, this Wosota right here, which you can get at Amazon, link down below, like I said, and this Tascam, not Tascam, this Tasco, let's get that right, this Tasco camera, which you can get at Amazon or Walmart. Like I said, I'll have the links down below. Links are down below. You can click on them and go for it. But these 2 cameras, out of all the ones I've tested, are awesome. Now, I have a Primos camera out there, which I love, and it's a great camera, but you can't get them anymore, so that's why I'm not even talking about it, because you can't get that camera. I have an Alpha Cam, and I'll put the link for the Alpha Cam down below so you guys can go check it out. And it's not a bad camera. I mean, don't get me wrong. It takes very clear footage, and it does work. And when it's working, it works pretty well, but it doesn't pick up as much as these 2 cameras. And I have it on the high setting, and these 2 cameras just outperform that camera. And those cameras run $68.99 or $79.99. I can't remember. But it just doesn't perform as well, and it's more complicated to set up and use, and it took me a little while to figure it out, to get it working right and get the settings right. Like, I had to play with all the settings to finally get it to where it will work consistently every day. And now I've got it working, and I just leave it out, and I know what to do. But it's a lot more complicated. It doesn't pick up as much footage as these 2 cameras do. So that's why I don't have it here, and I'm not talking about it. You will see in another video that if it's not up already, that I'm going to put up, where I talk about how I mount my cameras. You will see that camera in that video, so you can check that video out and you can see that camera. And like I said, I'll link it down below as well. It's not a bad camera. It does work well, but I won't be buying another one of those. I'm going to stick with these 2. I'm a keep it simple stupid guy, and these 2 cameras are doing the job that I needed to do, and they work great, and I love them. And so these are the ones that anybody asks me about trail cams, these are the ones I say go get, because they're cheap, they don't cost a lot, they're easy to set up, and they work well, and I catch all kinds of stuff. So that's a quick overview of touching on cameras, trail cams, and it's just a brief overview and kind of what I've learned through using trail cams. And it's very hit and miss with trail cams, because some trail cams work great, some don't. You just don't know. You kind of have to experiment and find ones that work for you. Now, these are the 2 that work for me and work great, and these are the ones that I'm going to keep buying as long as they make them. I'm going to keep getting these, because this 12 megapixel Tasco is awesome, and if this is the only camera I could get a hold of, I'm going to get these, because I run them. They work great. Like I said, I've put cameras out since last fall, and I leave them out all day, all night. They're out 24/7. We do not take them down. All we do is change the SD cards and the batteries, and these 2 have performed amazingly well, and I love them. And like I said, I'm getting 2 months out of the batteries. I'm actually getting longer life out of the Tasco ones, and I think that's because this has that LCD screen and stuff, and it has that wider range. It has a few more features on it, but these Tascos, I mean, I get like almost 3 months. I think I'm getting around 3 months out of these up, and they're running 24/7. They're always on. The only time they're not on is when I change the SD card and then I turn it back on. So these are great cameras. So I would definitely, either one of these I would go for, but do your own research and find what's going to work for you. They do make some smaller ones that Wosota puts out that I've seen some good reviews on. I might pick one of those up and check them out, but they take only 4 AA's, but they don't last as long. So you'd be changing batteries about every month. So you have to ask yourself what you want to do. I like being able to put them out and only have to change batteries every couple months. That works better for me. So that's basically my rundown. Now Tascam, there's a lot of people that love Tascams and think they're great cameras. I mean, but you're talking about, the average price of Tascams $149.99, and then you got, if you want to hook it up to your phone, then you're gonna have $100, $150 a month. You can only link 2 of them together per service. So for 2 of them, you're gonna be paying about $150 a month to have service on it. I mean, is that worth it? Not to me, it's not. I mean, maybe to other guys it is, but I'm not going to push that just because that those cameras have this good name in the hunting community because of that. I'm going to talk about what works for me. I'm a budget guy. I live on a budget, and these work great, and I love it. And we get all this great footage. Like I said, all the footage you guys have been walking, each camera that I've been talking about, that's the footage you've been watching while I've been talking about the camera. And so you guys can make your own choice, make your own decisions. But these are the cameras that I like. They're budget friendly. These are the ones that I'm going to keep. These are the ones I'm going to keep using. I'm not going to be buying a bunch of other cameras to review because I don't need to do that. I'm doing reviews on the ones that I'm actually using, and these are the ones that I'm using. I may pick up a couple of the smaller Wasoda ones because Wasodas turned out to be pretty good. I may try a few of those, maybe at least one of those to show you guys that one, but that's about as far as I'm going to go with it. I'm just going to keep showing you the trail cam footage I'm getting from these cameras. So I hope you guys are enjoying these videos, and I hope they help you guys out for those of you guys that are trying to get some trail cam videos. Like I said, there's going to be an in-depth review on all 3 of these cameras. I'm going to show you how to set them up, and I'm going to show you the footage that I'm getting off of them. I'm going to do each one individually and walk you through it so it makes it easier. So if you don't feel like reading the book, you can just watch my video. And these are great cameras whether you're a hunter or if you're somebody that just wants to see what's out there. I mean, these things will show you all kinds of animals. We were surprised at some of the animals that we have seen on our property, and that's a whole nother video I'm going to do. I'm going to show you some of the animals because we have some predators on our property that we didn't know were even in this area, and that was really cool to see. But it's also nice to know because I walk around the property at night. Now, I don't walk around the property without being armed of some point. I usually always have a knife and a gun on me, especially at night. I make sure I always have a gun on me when I'm walking around my property because we do have some predators out here. Everything from foxes, possums, we have coyotes, bobcats, wolves, bears, and we have another critter that I'm not going to mention until you see that video. So you're going to have to watch that video. It's going to be about the predators on my property, and you'll have to watch that video to see what that animal is because it's a rare animal. It's where we live at is as far south as it comes, and we only caught a little clip of it, but it was super cool to see. So anyway, that's all I got for you guys. I hope you're enjoying these videos. I got lots of wildlife videos to show you guys, and I'm posting at least one a month showing you the animals on the property. Currently, I've been doing I did the squirrels gone wild stuff. By the time you see this, there'll probably be a couple other ones up as well. But I'm trying to post at least one a month where you can see the video footage of what these cameras are catching. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button because it does help the channel. And links down below for these cameras, the mounts and stuff are all down below so you guys can go check that out. And if you guys use those links when you go to get a camera, it actually helps my channel out a little bit as well, and I would appreciate that as well. So hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you guys get some trail cams and see out there. I'd love to hear what you guys end up buying and what you're capturing on your cameras. Questions, comments, leave them down below, and we'll see you guys on the next video.